Hey there, Kiranjeet. Thanks for resending this. It wasn't opening at all, so thanks for doing that. Let's take a look now at what you wrote. It's your first set of essays. The first one is about schools and whether they should educate or whether they should entertain more. Here's what you wrote. Okay. It is a paradox in some individuals that schools should be a source of amusement for the students, while others say that their motive is to educate them. I believe that there are many other sources of entertainment, but less to educate them. This essay will analyze the issue by using examples from daily life. Okay, so some good elements here. It's the appropriate structure for an introduction. You've done that well. There are some word choices that I don't really believe are appropriate. So let's take a look at the paragraph again, okay? This is awkward to me. It's a paradox in some individuals. I don't agree with that expression. I think it would have been, I think there should have been something else instead. Perhaps you could have said, it is a matter of controversy for some that schools are a source of entertainment, while others say that not their motive. Whose motive? All right, that doesn't make sense. But their role is to educate them, or that the role of schools is to educate. So you needed to really rewrite this sentence in order to make it clear. Okay. Now, this is also incorrect. It's not less, it's fewer, because sources is countable. So you would use fewer to educate them. Okay? And then it's fine. So those are some of the things that I wanted to see altered. All right, so first, teaching disciplinary skills to the children and making them good citizens is the primary responsibility. Disciplinary. No, you don't mean disciplinary skills. You mean something else. I think you mean that you want to teach them good discipline, which is different than disciplinary skills. All right? This is because if the values are not instilled in them, it is more likely to give rise to problems in the society. All right, what do you mean by that? Moreover, they will not be able to differentiate between good and bad. For example, if teachers, get rid of the, will just focus on entertaining the students rather than teaching them values for life, there are chances of not misleading, that's the wrong word, in the future. Therefore, they are not obliged to use, but lead them in the correct path. Okay, lead them down the correct path. All right, now let's talk about what my concern is with the development of this paragraph. The essay is not asking you if schools should educate or entertain. It's not an either or thing. It's just whether they should be more entertaining. All right, so reading this paragraph, I feel like there's a little misinterpretation of the topic. The way you have developed this so far is that, no, we shouldn't entertain because we have to do this. But they're not saying entertain or educate, all right? But it's just educate and make it more entertaining at the same time. So combining these two elements. So that's my concern here. Okay, so that's what I want to say about this. I'm a little concerned about this issue here. Let's take a look at what you do in the rest of the essay. Secondly, the duty of these institutes is to prepare who? Who are they preparing? Obviously, we know you're talking about children, but grammatically it has to be clear as well. The them, I don't even know when you last used the word students, so it's important to make it clear who this them is referring to. Secondly, the duty of these institutes is to prepare students for their successful career and make them capable of earning to survive. This is the fact that educators work as a guide. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't mean hereby this is a fact. Work as a guide and help them choose the right profession, which will be the source of their livelihood. For instance, educated people tend to join skilled courses after their basic education. Okay, this is underdeveloped, and you haven't told us why entertainment in school precludes this from happening. So, yeah, it just doesn't feel particularly on topic to me. It's as if you're answering something entirely different. Reading these two batty paragraphs, I feel like you're saying, it's like you're arguing something else entirely. You know, like what skills should teachers provide apart from academic knowledge? So that kind of feels like what you're talking about. And then here you talk about discipline, and then here you talk about career advice and shaping students for the future. Like, so it doesn't feel like you're answering this question at all. Okay, and that's my concern here. But let's take a look at your conclusion. To conclude, you don't need to put a capital in front of the C, in the beginning of the word conclude. So to conclude, although entertainment is essential for children, school is the only entity that can provide them with sufficient knowledge to create a safe future in the future. Ooh, careful, I don't like this when you have the same words so close to each other. It just feels very repetitive. The introduction of activities related to their interest should be included in the curriculum, but not on the verge of education. The verge is the wrong word here. I also don't like the fact that you introduced this new idea about introducing activities in your conclusion. That's not what your conclusion is for. You don't present new ideas there. All new ideas belong in your body paragraphs, okay? So, for me, the biggest issue, as I said, is that it doesn't really feel like you were on topic here, okay? It felt like you were answering a different essay entirely. And then there were some lexical problems as well. So those are some things that I want you to work on when you correct this essay. In the meantime, let's take a look at your second essay. Oh, what is this? You wrote the same essay? I don't know why you would do that. I'm really not sure why. You only had to write one. Anyway, I won't correct it right now because I'm not really sure why you did that. Instead, let's go to your second essay. Okay, enjoyable activity. There is no doubt that activity-based learning enhances the imaginative power of children. No, not instead of reading. Grammatically, that doesn't make sense. It's as if you're saying you're comparing children to reading, and that's not what you want to say. More than reading can, okay, or more than reading does is how you could do this. Thus, I firmly believe that learning through activities boosts, you need an S here, their knowledge and helps them to retain for longer periods, and it will be analyzed by using examples from the classroom daily life. Fine. Firstly, children grasp more while the learning process contains fun activities. This is because enjoyable activities help students to concentrate more on the content, especially those with attention deficiency. Careful here. Those who, for students, help students to concentrate more on the content, especially those. All right, it's a little bit of a stretch because you have this word content in between, but I understand that you're referring to students. For example, instead of reading drama, comma, if role plays are given to the students, it will develop more curiosity to learn, and it will be long-lasting. Therefore, it is a good way to enhance their cognitive skills rather than rote learning. Okay? Secondly, it does not only, you don't want to say grow them, you want to say develop them, because grow, plants grow, flowers grow, but not, you don't grow a child, okay? You raise a child. All right. It helps in overall development of the child. The reason behind this is that the children will be physically fit if they are mentally relaxed. The pressure of the rigid curriculum sometimes acts as an obstacle in their physical growth. Obstacle 2. For instance, sometimes due to the pressure of curricula, they isolate themselves from the outer world and become depressed. However, the inclusion of such activities gives them freedom and a better understanding of the concepts and provides a wider outlook. In conclusion, it is clear from the above discussion that in every aspect, the introduction of activities is crucial, is more crucial, you can't really say, is more important than typical reading skills without the. In the future, if such activities are promoted, then this will change the lives of students and help them develop in a holistic manner. Okay, your conclusion is fine, but let's talk about the actual content of these paragraphs. Let's take a look at something briefly here. 259 words. Yeah, it felt kind of short. It's above the word minimum, obviously, but I still think it could have been a touch more developed. Now, let's talk about this. Enjoyable activity with a child. You really put this within the framework of the school day. To my mind, it shouldn't be. It's more about a child in its free time and not so much during the school day. Now, that's one thing. Maybe this is my personal interpretation of this topic, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. Instead, what I want to talk about is the skills that these activities are supposed to help develop. So, on the one hand, you have skills, okay, and then on the other hand, you have imagination. So, what skills did you actually talk about here? You talked about cognitive skills, even though that was really rather vague. You said it helps them concentrate more. I really felt like you could have developed this more. You could have talked about this cognitive skills more. You could have talked about why drama and role plays help students and in what ways. So those are the elements of this issue that I wanted you to talk about. Okay, that's the one thing. Now the other thing is that I felt this paragraph was really off topic. You talked about physical fitness, but rather than really talking about that and what kind of skills it helps them, you talked about what happens when children are pressured from school. So I thought all of that was really irrelevant. But what's more important is that you missed a very critical part of this essay that you were supposed to explore. Take a look at this. Develop better skills and imagination. You did not address imagination at all anywhere. You had a wonderful opportunity to do it here, but you didn't take that opportunity. And so what happens is that an examiner will look at this and say, okay, well, only half of this topic has been developed. And what that's going to do is it's going to definitely drop your task achievement score. Okay? So, I don't want you to feel disheartened about this. This is pretty typical, and it's only the beginning of your work here in the course, so we still have plenty of time to overcome these issues. The takeaway here is to really pay attention to what the task is asking you, make sure you absolutely understand it, and make sure that you're developing your answer in a way that covers all elements of the task, okay? So let's talk about what your next steps need to be. The first step is you need to correct these essays based on this correction, all right? And you're going to send that back to us. The second thing you're going to need to do is to create an error correction list, and in that list you're going to write down all the mistakes that were pointed out to you. Next to each mistake, write down what the corrected version would be. This is a list that you're going to add to with every essay correction you get back. And then the third thing you're going to do, of course, is to write us a new set of essays applying all the things that you've been learning so far. So go ahead, get that started, and let's meet back here in the next day or so with your new essays. All right? Good luck, and I will be looking forward to seeing your next writing assignment.